everybody, welcome. My name is Chef Rob, and today we're going to make some pumpkin pie muffins with some cinnamon sugar on top. These are really perfect for September, October, November, Thanksgiving, Halloween, and then seems like pumpkin just kind of disappears for a while, doesn't it? So pumpkin does not have a lot of flavor in it. That's why it needs a lot of the spices in it to really give it a nice boost. Okay, cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves, ginger, all helps it really well. So let's start over here. We're going to start with one medium bowl, and we're using 1 full cup of the all-purpose flour, nice and level, just like this. Just put that right in your bowl. And then we're going to take a 1/2 teaspoon of the baking powder. That'll give it a nice rise. We want a 1/4 teaspoon of the baking soda. And then we want a 1/2 tablespoon, okay, of the ground cinnamon. Okay, put that right in there. And now the nutmeg, we're going to put in 3/4 teaspoon of the ground nutmeg. Nutmeg's a little stronger, so that's why we use a little bit less of the nutmeg compared to the cinnamon. Going to go over to the ginger. Ginger, we want a 1/2 teaspoon of the ginger. The ground cloves, they're a little strong, so that's why we just put in a 1/4 teaspoon of the ground cloves, just like that. And then a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and what the 1/4 teaspoon of salt will do, it will just bring out all of the flavors in the pumpkin pie muffins. Just take a wire whisk, mix this around really well. Don't get any out of the bowl if you can. That way everything will be in there and it will come out exactly the way this recipe is designed. Okay, now we're going to take a large bowl and we're going to add in a 1/4 cup of melted butter. That's 1/2 stick of butter. Okay, just melt it. Just get it to where it's melted. You don't want it like really piping hot. And then we're going to take a 1/2 cup of the white sugar. Make sure it is nice and level. You do want the right amount of sugar in there for the moisture and the texture. So we're just going to add that right in here. And then we want a 1/4 cup of the brown sugar. Brown sugar, when you're baking, always packed in there. Add that in here. And now let's just bring the 2 sugars and the butter mixture together. Just go up against the side of the walls, just to make sure you get it all mixed in. It'll look a little clumpy, but as we add some more wet ingredients in here, it will get looser. So we're going to put in 2 tablespoons of milk. Now, this here is 2 tablespoons. So they sell unique measurements. You know, you can get them online, probably some of the stores. Always check for it. So 2 tablespoons. I'm using the whole milk. We're just going to whisk this in, bring all the ingredients together. Adding them in one by one just kind of makes you get everything mixed in really well blended. Look how smooth and creamy that is. That is exactly the way you want it to look. Now we're going to add in 3/4 cup of the pumpkin. You want either the solid pumpkin, the pure pumpkin, or the pumpkin puree. It's all the same thing, just different labels at times. Just no pumpkin pie filling. Okay, so I'm adding my 1/4 cup. Might as well just do 3 of these. So remember, 3/4 cup of the pumpkin. We're going to take 1 egg. Add the egg in here. Mix this really well, and then we will add our vanilla. Again, you will get 6 really nice sized muffins out of this. It will last for about 2 to 3 days outside of the refrigerator, but if you freeze them, they will last quite a few months. Okay, and now 1 teaspoon of the pure vanilla extract. Add this in here. I love pumpkin season. Pumpkin season is probably my favorite of all of them for food. Blend that all together really well. And now we're just going to take our dry ingredients and we're just going to get it combined. You don't want to overmix it. As soon as you see no flour, stop. Okay? So just gradually, because these are all mixed in really well. So you're just going to gradually add this in. And then you could take like a rubber spatula and go against the side of the wall of the bowl. And just make sure everything's incorporated really good. Over mixing the batter or dough, it can make the dough a little bit tougher. Okay, so you don't want to do that. So I'm just going to get this combined. And it will be a very wet dough, but what that will do is make sure that it's a very moist muffin. You would want to start your oven right now. You'd want to put it on to 350 degrees. Okay. So if you can see how this batter is. Okay, I'm just going to get a spoon and just kind of hold it up just so yours is the same way. Okay, it's very wet, but going to be very moist. Just hit everything off of the wire whisk. We are going to take our little muffin liners here. Put in about 6. You're going to fill it about 3/4 of the way. And again, very kind of loose, very wet dough, but that's perfect. If you wanted to add little nuts to this, walnuts, pecans, you could. If you wanted to add raisins, little chocolate chips, that's something else that you could do. If you want to add dried cranberries and pumpkin really go well together. You might even get an extra one. So it depends on the size of your pan. And you want to make sure that they're all equally spread out, because that means they will all come out of the oven at the same time. While these are baking, we're going to make a cinnamon sugar mixture, and we're going to melt down some butter because we have another step to do. I'm going to add another liner in a second. But I want to make sure that these are nice and even. Actually, I'm going to put 2 in here. Yeah, I think I can get 2 out of this. That's great. So 6 to 8 muffins depending on the muffin pan that you are using. You can make the little minis with this too. Okay, and then make sure you scrape it out, because you want to get all this batter out of here. And just kind of look around for maybe the lowest one. Fill that up. And cook these towards the lower rack. Put a sheet of aluminum foil on the rack above. And these are going to cook for 18 to 24 minutes. Okay, depending on the size you made. Take a little toothpick. If it comes out clean, it is done. We're going to put these in a 350 oven right now. And then we're going to come right back and we are going to make our cinnamon sugar mixture. Very easy, but when these are done and they cool, we're all ready to enjoy them. While the muffins are in the oven cooking, let's make our cinnamon sugar. Going to take 2 tablespoons of the granulated sugar and 2 teaspoons of the ground cinnamon. And then we're just going to mix this together. Just give it a little mix just like that. Okay, and then In a separate bowl, we're going to have 3 tablespoons of melted butter here. If you have a pastry brush, this would be good because we can brush the tops of the muffins. And then we will dip it into the cinnamon sugar or just sprinkle it on top. It's whatever you want to do with it. Because if you don't want it too sweet, just kind of sprinkle it on there. So let's go check on our muffins and see if they're done. So our pumpkin pie muffins are done. And they took about 20 minutes, and now I let them sit for about 10 to 15 minutes, and they are nice and cool. So now what we can do is just take some of the melted butter, just very lightly, just give it a quick brush, and then just turn it over, dip it into the cinnamon sugar just like that. Put them on your platter, and these will be really, really good. So they did take the 20 minutes. I put on the recipe 18 to 24 minutes because, again, everybody has different size muffin pans. Some people will make the mini ones, some will make the really jumbo ones, and it will alter the cooking time. Just kind of roll it around in there. Okay, these are so tasty. Just make sure that you let them cool all the way. These would be really good as a breakfast snack at night or even Thanksgiving. So our pumpkin pie muffins are all done. It has the cinnamon sugar coating on there. They are so delicious. Enjoy them 2 to 3 days. If not, make sure you put them in the freezer and they will last a couple months. Now I had a little bit of extra cinnamon sugar, a little bit of extra melted butter, so you could start off by using half if you want to do that. Okay, so maybe instead of 3 tablespoons of butter, go down to 2. Okay, you can always add more, but once it's melted, it's melted. The cinnamon sugar that you have left, French toast, pancakes, you can always use that. Okay, everybody have a great day. Thank you for always watching, and I hope you go to my Facebook page, Simply Creative Chef Rob, to watch many different videos. Thank you. Bye.